10 o'clock hour, and as per usual, on every other Saturday, we have with us the inimitable, the one and only Mr. Chesley Hamilton, as we do here today. Good day to you, sir. How are you today?
I am well, and you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to us in the world or viewing us. Um, Today, the 18th of July, 2026, we have some good news and bad news, and we hope to take the conversation forward. Uh, for me, the passing of Sir Gary Sobers yesterday and the passing of the King Star Shield are two of the sad bits of news that we have to share and perhaps comment on. The other aspects of the news, whether it's sports or um, political news or economic monetary news, I think we could tie in the launch of the Eastern Caribbean new notes, coupled with what's going on in the World Cup and the fact that we are on the eve of the finals of the World Cup between Spain and Argentina. And it seems like 2 weeks ago when we came here and discussed the whole history and thing about Argentina, we were at the forefront of the discussion to come. So, I mean, that whole thing with the refereeing and the treating of the way that the games were refereed and so on
Yeah.
between Argentina and Egypt and others became the news, and we were at the forefront of what we thought was to come or was unraveling. And therefore, if there's any continuation of that, we can so do. But yeah, it's the champions of South America versus the champions of Europe in the final. Maybe that's the way FIFA wanted it. That's the way they have it, and that's what's going on.
But is it the champions of South America or is it Europe on a whole? Because
I'm not laughing. I mean, they say Argentina is the Europe of the South
yeah,
America,
yeah,
and for specific reasons and analogy, and it shows that you're on the cutting edge of the discussion, with that one. And if I'm to continue down that line, we all know that after World War II, Mengele and the doctor, um, some of the
Nazi,
propagandists of the Nazi
yeah,
regime, where they went and hide out and remain for years, fleeing justice from the international courts and so on, was in Argentina, and they were protected there by the army, etc. When the army were taking people's kids and killing them and destroying them. And many times now, some of those same folk songs that the army and so on was singing are now the chants, revoked with lyrics for the
yeah,
Argentina football team.
yeah.
So, it's one of those things when the question of the genocide of black people and slavery came up for a vote in the UN, the only three nations that didn't vote for the resolution were United States, Israel, and Argentina.
Yeah.
And therefore, I mean, you could be a lover of football and a lover of what you see on the field in Messi, but to 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 fly the flag of Argentina and beat my chest and be proud of their achievement on or off the field is something that I have to hold my reservations and not easily commit to anyone
Imagine
that
even other South American teams,
yeah,
whenever Argentina is playing, they don't support them. They
yeah,
support
yeah.
whoever they play against. You
and
know.
and, 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 and and you see the the violence and the racism coming out in terms of how they deal with the referees and the refereeing and the players. I mean, the
Yeah.
fouls that they commit, and feel that it's a sense of entitlement. And if you
Yeah.
ever dare touch Messi, they all are ready to gang up on you and fight. But they are ready to take out the legs of anybody else who travels with the ball. And I mean, I'm not going to support it. I mean, it is part of the game. I mean, sometimes you just have to take one for the team and one for the star of your team. But I'm just simply telling you, it is not an entitlement. It is something that's supposed to flow both ways, and that is the fair play that the beautiful game demands.
One of the things that baffles me, Messi is a great player. We're not going to take that from him,
No.
okay? Great player. I mean, when you see some of the things he has been doing,
Mhm.
you can't take it away from him.
No, I can't.
But they're always trying to push someone ahead of the greatest of all time footballer, and that is Pele. And the irony is, all of those who are always trying to go ahead of him in all kind of ways, they wear the number that he made famous.
Yes, that's true. And I will put it this way: Messi has won one World Cup, and they realize that, and they are trying more and more to see that they can put more
Yeah,
towards him. Yeah, he has won the European champions. He have won different things, but you cannot take away from Pele that he won back-to-back World Cups,
yeah.
and he won 3 World Cups
He
in
won
his
three,
in
and
his career.
he
Would
would have
won a
won
fourth,
fourth. But remember, they
but for
tackled him.
the
You see
broken
two,
leg.
yeah, they 2 and 3 people. You see tackling the man.
And the thing about it, they did that to prevent him from going further.
Yeah,
And that is what, anytime you touch Messi, that's what they feel is coming back as retribution.
yeah.
And therefore, these are some of the things that people don't know. And if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat the worst aspect of
That's
it.
it.
And that is all I'm trying to say in the conversation. That is what is in the conversation. I mean,
Even when Maradona, remember Maradona
yes,
scored for,
Argentina.
yeah, and remember, it amazes me because you see blatantly he used his hand,
In the hand of God.
and when they he actually said it. That's how it got. They
Yeah.
asked him about it, and he said, well, part was his head and part was the hand of God.
Amen.
Huh? And they, even though they
They would
saw
never,
that,
they would
they
never forgive
never.
him.
I mean,
I mean, the second goal was a wonderful goal as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
where he took the ball from half line and just travel and travel and travel through the entire England's half of the field and end up scoring. I mean, there were two memorable goals. Let me put
Yeah,
it that way.
yeah.
The one where Peter Shelton went up for the ball and all of a sudden the ball ended up in the back of the net. Those days you didn't have the replays.
Yeah.
Those days you couldn't call it back. You didn't have VAR,
Yeah.
video assisted referee. You didn't have any of that. So therefore, just after the Falklands War, man, for him to do that,
But the main reason I referred to him was that he also wore number 10.
yes, he wore number 10. All of them wore the number 10. Whether they played in the 10th position behind the 9 or not, they wear it because that is the number made famous by Pele. And therefore, all of them all want to be
In that bracket. Yeah.
okay. I mean,
And
what's
they're
his name
also
from
and they're also trying to usurp Pele, but they're not going to be able to do it
what,
because
Cristiano Ronaldo wear number 7. Let's give him that. But the issue is they all they all wanted to be like the Brazilian
yeah,
Pele.
yeah,
So I'm glad that we took that topic early.
yeah,
We're not following. We weren't bandwagonists, so to speak. We took it on. We went out there. We took it on head on, and we spoke to that because we wanted the people to know and understand. When you cheer, you must know what you're cheering for and why you're cheering for. And if you
Yeah.
choose to support that team, that's great. I mean, that's fine. It is your team, football, and so on. But you must know the underbelly of some of the things that you are supporting and why there are no black players in Argentina. It is not because they are not black footballers are no black people born who can play football within Argentina. But the systematic, and that's the word I'm going to use, the systematic racism in Argentina that prejudice and discriminate against people of the darker hue.
But
Um,
internally, Chesley,
mm,
the format that the regime, the governing regime, pushed forward to the rest of the world is
mm.
that there are no blacks in Argentina.
Yeah.
I saw a black being interviewed recently, just after Argentina won and would be playing the final, and they asked him a question. The journalist asked him. Has he felt that anything has changed for blacks in Argentina? And if you saw the long pause he took, you could see him like going over in his head. And then he said, the one thing that has changed is that there are those now in this modern era, the blacks in Argentina, who are bold enough to push the fact that there exists black in Argentina. But
Amen.
you could see he was uncomfortable.
He had to, because
Yeah.
if based on what he said, I mean, he could disappear, and he could die,
Yeah.
he and his family, and nothing would come of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Trump is now supported and in millions or billions of dollars to Argentina is about the fact that he like the way that Argentina treated their blacks, and he
Yeah.
wants to see if he can bring that sort of policy to the United States,
Yeah.
the whitening of the race, and that is what he would like. He want some good immigrants from Norway. Remember, he said that.
Yeah.
Why can't he have some good immigrants from Norway instead of the S-hole countries from elsewhere in the
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
So people
From
must not.
let's not from Africa.
Yeah.
he said the S-hole countries from Africa.
I,
But he's
I,
still always trying to.
yeah.
Recently, he sent some negotiators to the Sahel states. And you know the Sahel states are Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. And you know how they stand.
Yep.
But he's still trying to, because they don't want to deal with you, but they want what you have.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because they feel they are entitled, and if they don't get it, then they want to come in, whether by Oxfam, whatever aid the thing, and back in the day it was the missionaries.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was the church and the missionaries. They came to save the souls, because remember the edict was, if they don't have souls or you can't save the souls, then you are entitled to kill them.
Yeah.
The church mandated, go and conquer these people, go and enslave them,
Yeah.
and work them for nothing.
Yeah.
And if you can't redeem their soul, it's okay to
Kill them.
kill them, have the genocide, wipe
Yeah.
them out. And I'm simply saying people must understand that the so-called humanitarians and the people who they want to say help in the emancipation and the liberation of black people, that was not
Their
their
mandate.
mandate. It is
Yeah.
the black Africans who fought for their freedoms. The Nani in Jamaica and elsewhere, the revolutionists, the free maroons who
Yeah.
fought for their freedoms. And when even they got it, like in Haiti, they paid reparations
Yeah.
to the
The colonialists.
to the colonialists, to the enslavers, for many, many, many years to their detriment. And people must understand that how the scale of justice has been skewed against people like us. And if you understand that within you, your sense of justice will want reparations, will want an adjustment, will want that these things don't go unresolved, and you will pass that forward for generations to come, because the struggle continues. I don't want anybody to think that I come to Inside the News only to speak of the news, but not to educate, but not to let people understand that, yes, I'm a social commentator, not a journalist. I am not a broadcaster, I'm not a journalist. I am a social commentator. I have 2 degrees in political science, one in a diploma from Seneca College in general arts and sciences, and I bring that education and qualification to bear, and sometimes also with my legal training to bear on my conversations. And if I could impart something in guiding you from a historical perspective, how to deal with some of these things for the future, because as Marcus Garvey said, a person without the true knowledge of the past, history, and culture is like a tree without roots. And if you're a tree without roots, you're nothing more than dead wood.
Yeah.
And dead wood could be shaped and fashioned into any kind of furniture,
Yeah.
any kind of thing, even logs to be burnt. So I want to make sure that you are not a tree without roots, but you have roots and you bring forth fruit in due season. Your leaves also shall not wither,
You know,
but whatsoever you do, it shall prosper, shall
when
prosper, shall prosper.
when you look at how Haiti is being treated, not only by the rest of the world, but even by their own fellow brothers and sisters in the Caribbean region, it kind of irks me. And when you have someone like Trump who says, "Oh, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs," is he aware that America owes Haiti? American soldiers went into Haiti and took out Haiti's gold from their treasury for safekeeping, and it hasn't been returned as yet.
And it will never be returned as long as they continue to exist. You understand? Not even as a digital number.
Yeah.
Not even as a digital number. So that you say, okay, we can support this. Let's deposit it in where, let's say, with the World Bank.
Yeah.
Let's deposit it with the monetary reserve and give them a digital account.
Yeah,
No, not even that
Not
way.
even that.
Not even by that. But hey, I mean, recompense is coming. Recompense
Time is longer
coming.
than twine.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mia Motley told me that at one time. Mia Motley said to me, when they overthrew her for Owen Otters, I called her and she said to me, Chesley, time longer than twine.
Yeah.
And her time came a second time around. Owen Otter was defeated, came a second time. She won all the seats. Even at that point in time, they wanted to overthrow her again.
Yeah.
She called a snap election, got rid of those who wanted to get rid of her, and won all and every one of the seats again. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, because she told me Chesley time longer than twine. And I want to say to the people of Barbados, since we've reached there, that my sincere and deepest condolences on the passing of Sir Garfield Sobers.
Yeah.
He was a great man. He was a
also.
great sportsman. He was an ambassador for all of us. He was, up until yesterday, your one and only living national hero. And I would say he was a national hero for all of us.
For all of us.
He represented us well. I mean,
He was
Great.
the one who started the pride of us in cricket,
Yeah.
with what he was doing.
Quint, I mean, you might say him and Sir Frank Worrell, but I mean, Frank Worrell was his captain, but I mean, even before him as a batsman, you had George Headley.
Yeah.
But Quint, when you have a cricketer who could bowl pace, and when I say pace, when people talk about Lily, I remember him telling Lily's captain, Ian Chappell, tell that guy I could bowl a bouncer too. You understand? And when Lily came into bat, he took the ball and peppered Lily.
Yeah.
Peppered Lily with some bouncers. So he was able to bowl fast. He was able to bowl swing. He bowled a traditional orthodox leg spin, but he could also then turn over his wrist and bowl back at the hand, googlies and Chinaman.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
when
all
you're going to
around,
find a
yeah.
player like that,
Yeah.
and then he was the best batsman that you could have. He made the team as a bowler and end up being your number one batsman. I mean, those things are hard to find.
But Chesley, you realize that there was something about a lot of the cricketers, the black cricketers in that era, because listen what you just said. He actually said to tell that guy, I can bowl that way too. It meant that remember that was during a period of us coming out of oppression.
Yeah.
And these guys could still stand up and represent themselves.
Yeah.
But now we find in this era we feel we have arrived and we are being docile, we're afraid to express ourselves, we look intimidated around them, so no wonder.
Because the rules are now, back in those days, the Australians could sledge you and they could say all manner of things against you. and you couldn't answer back. So the West Indians developed this thing of they wouldn't say anything to you. They would just stare you down, go
Yeah.
back to you and let the ball talk for
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah.
when you had somebody who actually says something, I mean, so Garfield said he went over into the Australian dressing room, and told Ian Chappell, tell that guy Lily, I could bowl a bouncer too.
Yeah.
And then when Lily came in, he peppered him.
And to strengthen the point you made about letting the ball speak, Michael Holding was good for that.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember a game where Michael Holding bowled the ball and it did some serious damage to the batsman. And while the commentators were looking for sympathy from Holding, he just went back to his crease and was there marking out his crease, waiting to bowl again.
And that is how you let the ball speak for you. Because I listened to Andy Roberts, and Andy Roberts said when they went to Australia first time, these guys were overstepping and bowling to them,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't call no ball. And when Lily running in, you heard, you listened to the crowd. I mean, tens of thousands of people saying kill, 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 kill,
Yeah,
kill, kill.
yeah,
Lily,
yeah.
kill, kill, kill,
Yeah.
kill, kill. As Lily ran in. You understand? You could imagine that.
Yeah.
And that is what they had to put up
To
with.
contend with, yeah.
I mean, who didn't get hit? Broken finger,
Yeah.
lost teeth,
Yeah. Yeah.
all sort of things before they reach home.
Yeah.
And it took Viv Richards saying, listen to me, we got to get these guys out. They're going to get us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they return here to the Caribbean, then they decided, listen to me, we're going to get four of the fastest
Four of
bowlers
the
and we're going
fastest.
back to them. And then for a while, they couldn't stand that pressure.
Yeah. And then you see what they did to the rules.
Oh, yes. Then all of a sudden, now I could go back and show you where Lily run into Richards and bowl 5 bouncers, because those are the days when it was 8 balls in the over.
Yeah.
5 bouncers, and when the umpire came down, Richards told the umpire, leave him alone, leave him alone. And then when we started to do it, all of a sudden now it's too dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And could only bowl two bouncers per over.
That's it.
And
you would hear commentators say things like this, because you remember, especially the English, they're very glowing in their expressions, verbal expressions, and you would hear a commentator say, and the bowler comes down now, and if he's speaking about the English bowler, he said, oh, and that ball has such character, a vicious bouncer, But when the West Indian do it, hear him, oh, that is a vicious ball. He seemed to have had evil intent.
and Holding will tell you, Holding will say to you, we used to bounce, but our bouncers never used to go beyond the rib cage or the armpit. You understand? Because we wanted to get it there so that you will push
cover
it
up, yeah.
Into one of the short fielders' hands. No, these guys are bowling and getting it over your head, and it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have helmets. Back then, you had no helmet.
No.
You had to bob and weave. I mean, the English had a series. It was called the Bodyline series.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
the
understand.
Bodyline series, because Truman and they were bowling at your body.
Yeah.
You understand? From around the wicket. And those days, I think you could still have more than 2 players behind the back of the batsman.
Yeah.
And just imagine you could bowl negatively at the person and have people feeling behind there. These are the sort of things. Those are the days as well before they changed the LBW rule. Once the ball from on the pitch outside the line of the leg stump and it going on to hit the stump, you could still be out like before.
Yeah.
All of those rules were changed because what? We adapted.
Some people say that one of the reasons for that rule being changed were people like the captain for West Indies at the time. What was his name? During the time when West Indies, after Sobers and so forth, when West Indies was in its heyday with
Lloyd?
Clive Lloyd, because they would say his bat was so broad. That was the expression that you couldn't catch the wicket, right? So they came up with all kind of things. So to thwart our defense.
Right, and these are the sort of things that people don't understand. that the minute you're beating them at their own game, here comes the rule change to try to tilt the balance. They put their hands on the scale again
But how
and
is it they
again.
have no shame about what they do? How is it
No,
that?
because it's an entitlement. They are entitled. I mean, it is shameful that, you know, here is England losing. They have no ball carrier. The main ball carrier in their team, the main ball carrier, I'm not afraid to say it, is Saka of Arsenal, a black player, the number 7. And you're not going to bring him on because you're going to have Harry Kane on there. And Harry Kane asks Harry Kane to play defense. Harry Kane cannot play any defense. He cannot run with the ball at that point in time. But you're going to do that because Jude Bellingham is earning his place by scoring and winning for you.
Yeah.
So you can't take him off. Yeah. So you can't have Jude Bellingham and Saka on the field at the same time because no, the young white guys in England cannot have as their heroes 2 black young men from England.
Yeah.
And it might sound strange, but that is what is at play.
Yeah.
That is what is playing over and over, latent and overt racism that are preventing them from going forward. But they don't care.
They don't.
Because they are entitled, and they will tell you when they do things like this, so what?
Yes.
I mean, they will tell you, so what? I mean, you point out things to people, and when they are in power, when they have the power and the authority, they ask you, so what?
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything about it because you do not have neither the power, the authority, or the office to change many of these things.
Yeah, we're going to take a commercial break, but before we do that, I would like to say, as I've often said, and people may cringe when I say it, but one of the reasons why the world has remained in the state that it has been in for so many years is because the most insecure human walking across the face of the earth is the white man. It sounds hard, but it's a fact. The white man has been so insecure that he has tried to dominate and suppress even his own woman to his own detriment. So let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The new Vita Malt bottle is here, and it's returnable. So don't throw it away, bring it back for cash. Return your empties to your local Carib Brewery Depot and distribution trucks in St. Kitts and Nevis. Vita Malt. Enjoy it. Return it. Let's keep St. Kitts and Nevis clean.
Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
Nevis, the countdown is on. Get ready for the ultimate clash of rhythm, energy, and soca vibes for Culturama 52. Link up with your friends and family. Bring the energy on Saturday, July 18th, 2026 for the National Bank Soca Monarch semifinals at the Nevis Culturama Village. Showtime, 8 p.m. Come, cheer on your favorite artists as they battle for a place in the grand finals. Experience unforgettable performances, music, and the true spirit of Culturama. Our heritage proud and true. It's Culturama 52.
And the time is 10:34. Right back to you, Mr. Chesley Hamilton.
Yes, we spent a half an hour dealing with some of those issues. The next issue I would like to touch is the launch of the Eastern Caribbean new bank notes. We know Sir Arthur Lewis is on the $100 bill. He was a Nobel Prize winner for economics with I think it's Compton of Compton from the St. Vincent.
I don't exactly
I think
remember.
that's where Compton is from, and then you have I don't think it's St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and then you have on the $20 bill I think it's Visi Bird Senior of Antigua, and Dame Eugenia Charles of Dominica. You have on the $50 bill Sir Dwight Venner, the longest serving
Eastern Caribbean,
Eastern Caribbean
Governor.
Central Bank Governor, and you have Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw of St. Kitts, and I think there is a gentleman James, the athlete from Grenada, and him, Bramble, Webster from Bramble from Montserrat, Webster from Anguilla, and somebody else I'm missing, who are on the other notes. So
We have a caller.
Yes.
Waiting. Caller, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Quint. Greetings, gentlemen.
Greetings.
Chesley and Quint.
Yes.
Now, Chesley, let me ask you this. How can we reach our people? A couple nights ago, I was in a discussion at a sport bar, and, the game between Argentina and Spain, where some of our young people were cheering for Argentina.
Argentina and someone else. It can't be Spain.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
But it was between
Argentina and England, probably. Argentina and England. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I tried to share just what you expounded on in your opening statement about, we being a black people and the annihilation of the black community that was in Argentina back then. Now, our people don't know, or should I say most of our young people don't know of that history. So how can we reach our people, Stacey? And you use a word that I always use whenever I'm on air. Everything is skewed against us. Now we have to look at everything that we have indoctrinated into. Politics, education, religion, and Christianity, if you will. I mean, we are in a state right now where we recognize, like myself, who have been awakened, so to speak, Chesley. Knowing what has happened then, what is happening now in our reality. Now, can I say the white man? Because when we refer to the white, people tend to think that we are coming from a space of hatred or animosity.
The first grade I got in political science when I went to university at a predominantly Jewish school was an A. Now, when you get an A on 40% of the mark, in order for you to end up with a B, it means you literally got, like, for your grade to now come down to a B, it means you got a C or less on the rest of the
Syllabus curriculum.
on the rest of the marks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go further. That's 40% of the marks I got an A. Now, participation was either 10 or 15 marks, and I know I can't get no less than an A in participation, right? So about 50% of the mark, and I already had an A. So it means that the next 50% of the grade, I virtually fail.
Yeah.
in order for my grade to reach down to a B. And you know what I said in that class that caused my grade to reach down there? I said that what was happening in the occupied territories of the Palestinians was analogous, that's the word I use, to what was happening in South Africa during apartheid. Because without any hearing, trial, or any kind of justice, the Israeli army was blowing up people's home. And this was during the time of the Intifada. So what I was saying to them is this: if you're going to just suspect that somebody is throwing stones who live in that house, and you're going to blow up the people's home, that can't be justice. That was the same as when the South African government went into the townships and bulldozed people's communities and housing and gave it to white people. Now, my Jewish professors didn't like that, because I just compared Israel to apartheid South Africa.
But I must say that you were quite a bold student.
I ended up with a B in that course, political science, political science 101. I am just simply telling you, I was amazed. I want to know how I ended up with a B. But it was that comment by me.
Excuse me, can I come in here for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say my piece and get off and listen. But you know what I'm saying is this, gentlemen. Now I've listened to the Prime Minister at his round table this week. I've listened to Dwyer Asterson and Sam Kondo yesterday on Freedom, and you know they're touching things and the theatrics that the first journalist that questioned the Prime Minister was Mr. Bhatt.
Right.
Now, the Prime Minister kind of danced around his response to Bhatt. Now, I want to know this. Does the journalist have a right to interject to get the Prime Minister or anyone who the journalist pose a question to say, well, you're not answering my question? Does the journalist have that right? Because for me, listening to Bhatt question and the response that the Prime Minister gave to Bhatt, it's like, Mr. Bhatt, I'm asking this justly. You might know this better than me. Does the journalist have a right to interject?
When there is a press conference, not when there is a round table. Otherwise, you're not going to get invited back to the round table. The round table is for softballs.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
See.
The round table is for softballs, and only who is invited by them can come. You understand? It is not open to the press. You can't go to the Prime Minister's round table. You're there at the invitation of the Prime Minister, and you got to govern yourself accordingly.
Wow.
So that is the round table.
Another thing again. Yesterday, with I was driving and listening to Freedom with Dwyer and Sam, and Sam, in my opinion, Sam Kondo is talking as if he weren't there. He's talking like he weren't there, and I find that to be so disturbing. It is disturbing, especially at a time like this, that Sam Kondo is like waiting to get a glitch from someone else, and then he comments.
Well, the issue is
Sorry?
Perhaps he has found salvation on the road to Damascus.
This is at the time for these kind of, talks. These talks, like, they just float over people's heads. This is like, I want us to get real.
Well, I'm going to say that to you. Why I'm saying that to you is this. Sam has been known, not that Sam isn't a well-meaning gentleman, but Sam has found himself where he has had to look back at some of the things that he supported and condoned when he was Deputy Prime Minister, and then look back and see, boy, during the time of Timothy Harris, I enabled him. You understand? Because I was I founded the party and was part of what he's doing. And I've come full circle now, and I'm with Terrence, supporting the Labour Party again. I'm going back home. And even if they're not doing whatever, I have to now begin to look at my legacy. And when he's looking at his legacy, he has to be able to say, no, I must be able to speak truth to power. So if he sounds a little, boy, he sounds like he wasn't there, it's because he is now looking at his legacy and understanding that there is a need for him to set the record straight.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
can he?
Let me say this quickly and get off, gentlemen. Now, let us go back to the system and this world that, we know whose world it is and how they see us. Because you see, Chesley and Quint, we're being labeled, we're being branded, we're being everything as savage without considering the act that was committed to us by those who label us as savage. And it is high time now that we see them for what they are, because they know who we are. We are everything that they are not. And we need to share what we know, because you see, they have not only caused us to forget who we are, they have also caused us to forget what we can become. Let me repeat this. They have not only caused us to forget who we are, they have caused us to forget what we can become. And when you look at their footprints, we have to call them for, they are a parasite and a virus on this planet. And we should be afraid to say it.
I'm going to get up and tell you what.
We should be afraid to say it. Thank you for hearing me, gentlemen.
No problem.
I'll continue to listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I woke up on my mind this morning. When I woke up, what was on my mind? We have something called the sentencing guidelines nowadays, right? It's come down from the Chief Justice. And one of the things is that if you commit a murder and you use a knife, you could have a starting point in that crime at 30 years, right? Starting point, and then you deal with aggravating and mitigating circumstances, whether it's going to go up or come down.
Yeah.
But if you commit a murder with a gun, right? The starting point could easily be 40 years. And because it's a gun, other aggravating circumstances and come down. And I begin to laugh to myself this morning. I said, but murder is murder. What I commit murder with shouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Whether I poison you, stab you, or shoot you.
Yes.
But in the psychology of those sentencing guidelines, you're not supposed to be able to use a gun. Well, who bought guns here and massacre our people with gunpowder?
That is a good example.
You understand me? I can't wait to advance this argument that should not be a means of a more severe sentence. That is craziness.
Yeah. But when you put forward things like that, Chesley, it brings to my mind a question that I've asked over and over again. Why is it that we as a black people who have inherited the rules and laws that kept us down pressed, why is it that whenever we go into Parliament, all we do is bring amendments where we change a word and we take it from that and we put it and we say shall and all that kind of nonsense, but the laws remain the same?
We are not taught to think for ourselves. We are taught to adopt. There is precedence from, and we have a judge like to say, if that was in the UK, or nothing works in St. Kitts, nothing works in Nevis, or nothing works in Antigua, nothing works in Montserrat. There are things like that.
Oh wow!
He will just say it and don't understand, what he's really saying.
Or care who he's saying it
yeah,
to.
I mean, he talks down upon you, and he feel like he's pontificating the truth.
But let me ask you this though, because I've heard you refer to these kind of, but why is it that no lawyer or no other individual is bold enough to look the man in his face and say, sir, do you understand you're speaking to human beings?
Because, I would be happy to say it and say it every time. if I was in the balance. But when my client's gonna end up in the balance, and my client is gonna get the blade of that, sometimes you just have to be measured.
But you see, I say that because if you say that, and there are any others with guts, and they back up that, then you would find people like these don't find themselves in the position they are in. But they're in the position they are in because it seems as if though we look up to these people talking down to us.
We automatically give deference. That's what I would easily say. You give these people the benefit of the doubt and you give them deference.
Wow.
Almost automatically. You walk into some stores, and this is where it comes. You walk into some store, and the customer relations person, the person there, automatically starts smiling and saying, "How can I help you?" But Quint walking with his dreadlocks. And they are looking at Quint, and they are following him on the surveillance because they expect Quint to hide something in his locks. I don't know why, but those are the perception. It's called profiling. It's called all of these things. But the ingrained preferences, I ain't gonna say prejudices, but they're one and the same if they have not built on anything that is sound.
Chesley, the reason I asked, let me give you a little bit of a story. In the 80s, I got a job in ZIZ, right, as a young technician.
Right.
And because I was not satisfied with the pay that I was getting at the time, because it did not link with my qualifications at the time, I, in my own way, found ways to rebel against the system. I did my work, but whenever we weren't on assignment, I just casually, and it seemed as if though there were individuals who didn't like that, okay? Just my dress, mind you, I did my work. And one day, a meeting was called in ZIZ, and they had this permanent secretary. As far as I understand, he has passed to the great beyond. It was a Farrier, permanent secretary from Sandy Point area.
Yes.
And imagine me, a young boy, sitting down in ZIZ's big conference television room, and I think this meeting is a staff meeting. I didn't know the meeting was on me, you know. And that permanent secretary got there and sat up there and castigated me. Said things like, "We don't want people coming in here through no back door and think they're going to come and change the system." And then the man pointed at me. Imagine me, little me, Chesley, me, little me. First time in the civil service, and a permanent secretary sit down up there and point at me and say, you come in, you ain't going to change things. And Chesley, I listened to the man, and I let him expound. And the man went on for about nearly 3/4 of an hour. And when he finished, I asked him, I said, "You finished?" He said, "You have anything to say, young man?" And I guess he thought that having spent all that time castigating me, I was so coward, you understand? This is why I say why I asked the question about people standing up to this judge, you know. So when he said, "You have anything to say, young man?" Everybody was there. Goldwyn Keynes had retired as the manager. Polly Manchester was the new manager. Vere Galloway, Al Green, you know, all those. My senior engineer and blah, blah, blah. Everybody was there, okay? And he said, "You have anything to say, young man?" And I asked him, I said, "Are you finished?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "You sure you're finished?" And he said, "Yes." And the first thing I asked him, I said, "When you sat down up there and you looked down at me, did you see me as being less of a human being?" That's the first thing I asked him, you know. And he stood a while before he could answer. And then he said, "No." And I said, "But you came in and you spoke to me as if though either I was of no worth or you didn't see me of any value." I said, "You said I came through the back door. But as far as I'm aware, I brought my qualifications. I was told to bring them to you. And I remember coming to government headquarters and giving you my qualifications, and you saying to me that I needed, imagine I had left school a good while ago and you're going to tell me, this is me speaking to you now, Chesley. You're going to say to a man who has left school long ago, don't have degree and that kind of stuff, and he must find a reference from his teachers. You know how hard that is? But
many times you're more qualified than your teachers now.
That's it. But fortunately for me, I could find, I don't remember who the other one was, but fortunately I know I found Bridgewater, Alfonso Bridgewater. That man played a big role in my life, okay? So I said to Farry, I said, I remember putting my stuff in front of your desk, in front of you, because this man said I came through the back door, you know. You understand what that implies? And then he says, oh, but you know, I'm a permanent secretary. You know how much people bring qualifications and blah, blah, blah.
So you look at them. That's what you want to say? That's his excuse?
But hear this, no? He said, I'm not only the permanent secretary for the port, I'm a permanent secretary for... He called out about 5 things. And I sat there and I said, perhaps you had too much portfolio. And when I look back at it, right? Because it reminds me of what you said you wrote in your thing, you know. Because people don't understand... A lot of us as young people, we're bold and we're radical, you know. They look at us and they think that we're naive. Put a long story short, after that meeting, everybody, all of my co-workers said, boy, Quinn, you're going to lose your job, you know, blah, 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 blah. I think you better apologize. And I said, why should I apologize if I'm right? Because he demanded I apologize, you know. He said, I put you, and I said, well, tell me where I was wrong, and I would apologize, and he couldn't do that. So after the meeting, they said, you're going to lose your, I didn't lose my job. And you know what happened when, because I was unaware of it, but it was coming up to an election, and I remember one of the things I said in that meeting was, you know, you sat down up there and you make it seem as if though we, as young people, don't count in the system. And when the election came, everybody in ZIZ who had not been appointed, right? Because at that time, remember I told him my gripe was my salary. And I had not been appointed up to that point. And I had a degree at that point. Election came, everybody who had not been appointed got appointed.
Amen.
And you know that happened because an impression was made that, boy, the young people, them going, you understand?
Okay.
But I didn't do that with the intention. I was just being radical and expressing myself. So what I'm saying is, people have got to stand up to systems. And I keep saying to people, when you sit down passively because you reach a level of comfort because of your job and your car and the things you can do, you're putting yourself back into the way of slavery. Look at what is happening in the world. Look at what is happening in the U.S.
In the early 1990s, we had a demonstration at York University, asking York University to divest its pension fund out of South Africa.
Yeah.
It's the Pan-African, they call them PALS, Pan-African Liberation
Hold a
Students.
second. We have a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, good day to everybody.
Yes,
Go
Greetings once more. In the name of Jesus Christ, the only Savior of sinners, from their sins and from hell, through faith only, by the gospel only, according to the Bible only, in Jesus only. Now, I would like to say that, well, Chesley mentioned the death of Sobers.
Yes, Garfield Sobers, yes.
Yes, well, I didn't listen from the beginning. But there's a prominent person who I used to work close to, not in the same department, but who I used to work close to, and we knew each other. And when we get a chance, we might say 1 or 2 words to each other, you know, in conversation. And that was Starshield.
Yeah, we mentioned Starshield as well.
Yes.
Yes, well, I would like to say condolences and sympathies to his family because I knew him well as well. Like I said, we used to work in close proximity to each other.
So I knew him. I met him and spoke to him on a number of occasions. And I didn't like how I understood he was being treated after a certain time, knowing his contribution to society and culture. But as often happens, we don't take care of our peoples. Yeah.
Right. I've seen a video of his in the past, and it looked to me like in one of his songs, the person looked like Chesley holding a donkey. Was that you, Chesley? That person looked sort of like you, like a protest. The person was protesting or something like that.
Probably Big Lies. It's probably his Big Lies.
Is Big Lies? Oh,
Probably
okay.
his Big Lies, my
Okay.
cousin.
Oh, okay. On other issues, y'all were mentioning slavery, the church, that sort of stuff. Now, one of the things that was said is that Sobers is a hero to everybody. Well, for me, if I'm going to have a hero, the person has to be well known, to be diligent in the work of the kingdom of God. And I don't know Sobers to have had that reputation and name. So, for me, he's not a hero to me. He was a great cricket player, yes. But when it comes to a hero, you have to have a great name, a big name, to be known, to be diligent.
So what do you
in the
think?
work
So
of
what
God.
do you say of our national heroes then?
None of them are my heroes.
Okay, I just
And
wanted to
I've
be
said
clear.
it more than once.
Yeah, I just wanted to
No.
be clear on that.
Yes. Now, number two. When it comes to like, well, mention was made of slavery and the church and that sort of stuff. I would like to say, when it comes to slavery and the church, it is a mixed bag, a very mixed bag. Obviously, the church, well, even for its official stance, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them sanction slavery. But even in those that sanctioned slavery officially, you still had priests and so on who bucked the trend of the church, who bucked the official stance of the church, and went opposite to the church in fighting against slavery and for the abolition of slavery. And we speak a lot about, for example, the Haitian Revolution. Well, there was a Catholic priest, I think his name began with a C, I forgot his name. He was very much against slavery, and he encouraged the people of Haiti, the slaves and so on, in their rebellion.
So let me ask you this, Greg. I don't know if Chesley, because he's listening attentively. So let me ask you this. So why is it that there were these priests and yet still our oppression has lasted 400 years?
Well, before I'm going to answer that question, the biggest hero of the Haitian Revolution was Toussaint Louverture, and he was a devoted Catholic. Now, what I also going to say in answer to your question, why we are in oppression for 400 years?
No, why it lasted for 400 years?
400 years.
Considering that you said,
considering
considering that you said there were these people who were so against it, why did it last for 400 years?
Well, okay. Number one, I think it's up and down thing, a hill valley thing. That's what I think it is. Black people were in slavery. Many cried out to God as they get to know God more and more through the Bible.
We're not, Greg. I'm not speaking about black people. I'm speaking about the same white people who you said were against it. So don't bring in black. Tell me why is it that there were whites against it, white priests to be more precise, and it lasted 400 years? I will give you the answer, but I want you to prefer your answer.
Well, again, the reason why people were against it, because the oppression, like I said, is an up and down thing. The reason why people were against it, and many priests and...
Chesley, you see how he doesn't answer the question? The question isn't why they were against it, you know. The question is why, having been against it, it lasted. You're not answering the question.
Yeah, but you said the oppression lasted for 400 years.
Yes.
No, the oppression
and
lasted
I said it was an up and down thing.
I'm using an approximate period.
Yeah, but I'm saying not 100% agreeing with you that it lasted 400 years, but I'm saying it was an up and down thing, up and down. And the reason and the answer that I was given for the up and down thing is that I was saying black people was in slavery, okay? They called out to God as they get to know God more and more. God brought them out of slavery, prospered them to when they had black Wall Streets and that sort of stuff. Okay. Black people was growing more and more prosperous. But then, so the oppression was getting less and less.
So in other words, Greg, because you're beating around, in other words, Greg, what you're saying is these white people had nothing to do with us coming into freedom then. Because you're saying is because we prayed to God and God redeemed us. So you're not answering. I mean, so what relevance?
Maybe we began to sin again and we went back into oppression.
Yeah. So what you're not you give no relevance or credence to what you've been. Anyway, let me cut it short. You know, and the reasons why it lasted 400 years because those who were against it were always in the minority.
Well, let me ask this question.
Wait, Chesley. Let me finish this. And up to today, that is still the problem. We still hear white people who are against it. There are a lot of white people who are against it, but they are always in the minority. And the majority has always been controlling. Go ahead, Chesley.
Let me put this question to Greg. Were these people who are against, were they benefiting as well? That's all I'm going to ask. The beneficiaries. These white people who were fighting against it, were they also some of the beneficiaries of the system?
To a certain extent, because many lost their lives, properties, and that sort of stuff. But what I'm saying, the white people did play a part in helping to bring black people out of state because...
But you're trying to steal the thunder of the black people who fought for their freedom.
That is what...
And rebelled and resisted.
That's what
and that the economic systems that these people had so designed were in a position of failing and crisis because of competition. The same capitalism that you like. You would want to pay no credence to none of those things.
No.
And you're going to talk about these white people who not only were in the minority, but want to come and steal the thunder through the whitewashing of history that they were the ones who caused people's freedom. Why, Greg, go do some more reading. Greg, please go and do some more reading. Greg, I know you're well read. Greg, I know you're well read. But that cannot be your answer.
I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I'm not well read, but I'm telling you what I'm telling
you. You are
God.
Greg, you are well read.
No, I'm not. God used certain white people to teach black people about his word and that sort of stuff. And as black people...
So God used black people to teach white people? Greg, go and get your statements, the subject of your analysis. Not the object. The subject of your analysis needs to be changed.
Yes, God also used certain black people to teach white people about the Bible as well. But what I'm saying, initially, God used, while black people were slaves and that sort of stuff, initially God used some evangelists, missionaries, and so on to teach black people
if
about
black
the
people
Bible.
did nothing to free themselves, we would still be in slavery.
Yes, and if we don't, and if we're not, and if we're not aware and keep and aware of what is happening in the world presently, we will find ourselves back in slavery again.
Greg,
not if we serve God. and what I'm saying, as black people came to learn more and more about the Word of God through the missionaries and so who cared and about what the Word of God says.
You see how he gives them...
I mean, we can't even get the truth about the same God. Because in order for us to serve Jesus Christ, he must be painted white.
Yeah.
He must be painted white.
Nowhere in the Bible says that.
Right.
That is in your...
Right. The image. What is the image that we portray in society of Jesus Christ? What? We can't even correct that. We can't even correct that illusion. We cannot even, and I call it an illusion, we cannot even correct that lie. And until, Greg, How many years this? 2,000 years since the coming of Christ? 2,000 years since the coming of Christ. We cannot even correct that lie.
Many of us have.
But you
Many
have
of
not,
us
Greg. You have not.
Many of us
How
have.
can you say many of it and include yourself when every chance that you
because the
get?
image don't mean nothing to me.
Oh, well, why don't you say it? Why don't you say it when you say through Jesus, through only Jesus Christ? Why don't you say through the only black Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
Because
Why don't you start the process of recolonize the mind? Liberate your minds from mental slavery. You remember Bob Marley? Liberate your minds from mental slavery. None of us but ourselves can free our minds. None but ourselves can free our minds. Help me free some minds, Greg. Greg, help me free some minds. Help me. When you come in and you say, only through the Bible, only through the this, only through the that. I want you to say, only through the black Jesus Christ.
I don't know what color Jesus was.
You see, he bring it right home now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you say that? Why don't you say, and only through the Jesus Christ of all colors are the rainbow or something? Why don't you say that? Because that will expand people's mind and thinking. But when you condone the same teachings and you only reinforce it, you perpetuate. If you remain silent, the silent majority again carries the day.
The color of Jesus Christ is not an issue. It does not matter.
What? When you have to be white as snow to enter the kingdom of God, and if your heart is black, it is not good.
You're cast into eternal fire.
Huh?
Well, the Bible did not say if your heart is black. You are saying it. But what I'm saying is that...
But you have to be white as snow. You have to be white as snow to enter the kingdom of God.
Repeat?
Your heart got to be as white as snow, as pure and white as snow.
Your sins have to be as white as snow by the blood of Christ. Your sins.
So okay? You're suggesting that snow can't be dirty?
If I'm... They are dirty snow. They are dirty snow, but it is talking about snow that is white.
Yeah, but snow
Your
can.
sins have to be as white as snow by the blood.
Why white?
You see, Greg and Chesley, people, white can be dirty too.
But white is pollution. The purity of outer space is black. It is polluted by light. That's why it's white. It's light pollution that causes. It's light pollution. The sun and the light is polluting the darkness of the purity of outer space.
But the sun, but the light from the sun is white.
Ooh, Lord of
I
mercy.
don't know what you're saying.
You hear him? You hear? He justifies white. He finds every way to. Anyway, Greg.
Yeah, because white is symbolically used to mean purity in the Bible.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is why I do not have never had heard since I was a youth growing. I grew up in a church. And I disassociated myself from the teachings of the Bible. And if you
find some white light coming from the sun, bring it to me.
Because it is all the spectrum of the all the colors of the spectrum put together. Therefore, it is white.
White is a polluted color. It's a mixture.
Well,
you cannot find pure white nowhere.
The white light is all the colors.
No. They call it white light, but it ain't white.
Anyway, I think, Chesley, we are going around. When it comes a certain point, we are going around in circles with Greg. So, Greg, finalize your point. I give you 30 seconds to do that.
Yes. So what I am saying is that the reason why we came out of slavery is, like I said, a lot of black people who became Christians, who learned what the Bible said, and many who taught them were white missionaries, yes. And they prayed to God. God heard the prayers. God gave them emancipation. He gave them wealth. You had Black Wall Streets and that sort of stuff. But later on, others came, devout black people, telling them about Africa and their skin color and that sort of stuff, and how Jesus is a myth and Jesus is that and Jesus is that. And since then, we have been, instead of going forward as we were going, when we were more at our eyes on Jesus Christ, we're now going backwards and backwards and backwards.
You notice how he brought in black to the degradation?
Yeah, Jah, Rastafari.
Oh,
Never living, never
No,
faithful.
Jesus Christ is the answer. The Bible is the answer. Jesus Christ is the answer through the Bible. It ain't no black or white. Black people are in hell.
This is
white
why.
people are in hell.
This is why.
Black people are in heaven. White people are in heaven.
This
it
is
ain't
why.
matter no black and white.
This
and
is
Jesus'
why.
color does not matter.
This is why I always let Greg speak, because people say, cut him off. No, let Greg speak and let people decipher for themselves and conclude whether he makes sense to them or not.
Amen.
Okay? Yeah, Greg. So,
And by the way, before I go, also, yes, there are parts in the Bible that black is used very negatively in a symbolic way.
okay, Greg. So we're going to take a commercial break. Okay, and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The stage is set. The spotlight is waiting. And the Nevis's brightest young stars are ready to shine. Join us for the Republic Bank Mr. and Miss Talented Youth Pageant as students from the St. Thomas's Primary School, the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School, the Violet O. Jeffers Nichols Primary School, the Ivor Walters Primary School, and Charlestown Primary School compete for the coveted crown with talent, confidence, intelligence, and school pride. It all goes down on Sunday, July 26th at the NEDAX Cultural Complex, 7 p.m. sharp. Don't miss this spectacular celebration of our youths. Remember, it's our heritage, proud and true. It's Culturama 52.
The new Vita Malt bottle is here, and it's returnable. So don't throw it away, bring it back for cash. Return your empties to your local Carib Brewery Depot and distribution trucks in St. Kitts and Nevis. Vita Malt. Enjoy it. Return it. Let's keep St. Kitts and Nevis clean.
Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
And we're back. The time, 17 minutes moving away from the 11 o'clock hour. Right back to you, Mr. Chesley Hamilton.
Yeah, I always thank Greg for his contributions, because sometimes he helped to reinforce certain
Things that
profiles
we're trying to say.
and certain historic perspectives. One must always interpret things for themselves.
Yeah. We have a caller.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I want to speak with Mr. Hamilton. I have a few questions here that I want to ask you.
Anytime.
What is the purpose of the Bar Association? And do lawyers take an oath?
Yes, lawyers take an oath. Let me answer that first. And the purpose of the Bar Association, we do have an act now that governs the profession, and the Bar Association serves for a number of things in terms of discipline of the lawyers, the professional certificates, and representing the position of the practicing bar to not only to government but to the public. So the name is slipping me. the Professionals Act, the Lawyers Professional. It's slipping me or catching me off guard. Is there to govern the professions and to help to regulate lawyers and to help them to adhere to the canons of ethics that that are there for us to when dealing with not only the public, the profession, but also the administration of justice.
I want to thank you for educating the public, but I feel that the head of the Bar Association should take the time to come on some kind of program to also help to educate the public. So
well, we got the legal representative and we have the head of the bar, meaning we have the Attorney General and we have the President of the Bar Association. They are both, we all have the responsibility to let the people know. Now, here's where I'm going to divert. We now have an act that governs the profession here in St. Kitts and Nevis. In Canada, the lawyers are self-regulating. And what does that mean is that the Law Society of Ontario, the Law Society of Upper Canada and so on, they're the ones who set the regulations for the profession. So yeah, they are the members, the benches, the members of the Law Society, so to speak. They are the ones who set the guidelines, set the professional standards, set the fees, set everything in terms of the administration of the legal profession. So some places it is self-governing, and some places it is the statute that help to govern and set out how the profession is to be administered. I think in also for doctors, there's the College of Physicians, and they are the ones again who regulate and administer how doctors are to behave, and they give them the license. That's another thing. You get your license or your professional certificate, your practicing certificate from the College of Physicians or from the bar, and that is how you need a number of things to practice. Sometimes you need a business license, or you need you need a work permit, or you need the license from the bar, the professional license, in order to practice in the field. Anybody just can't walk off the street and practice law, even though a client can represent themselves by constitutionally, or you can ask anyone to assist you. The profession then will come in and say, "Oh, you don't have standing." But sometimes those two things collide. If I could ask anyone to assist me, how come you're going to tell me when I stand up and say, "I want this person to represent me," you're going to then turn around and say that person don't have a license to practice law? But those are some of the conflicts that exist. There are certain things that are based on tradition in the common law, and there are some things that are now regulated by statutes. And you say when those two things collide or conflict, then the statute would take precedent. But it's a good question, and you must write to the Bar Association and ask them to come forward on a regular basis to let people know. I don't know if it's because you're having some difficulties with lawyers or you're having some difficulties with the profession, but whatever it is, I'm asking you to make sure that you ask so that they can come forward, not only the Attorney General. Write to the Attorney General and let him write to the bar, and let them come forward and put forward educational perspectives to make sure that you understand what the profession is supposed to provide for you.
Mr. Hamilton, this is good for the ordinary folks to know, because I learned something this morning. The other question I have is there a limitation on courses that go before the court? For example, if you pay a lawyer to take your case to court, and you realize quite a lengthy time has passed without no communication, no resolution or anything, that is also in the act as to the steps you can take to recoup your money if nothing has been done on your situation.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's a gem of a question. And why I say it's a gem of a question, there's been a lot of delays of recent thing coming out of COVID, coming out of the profession. Whether it's on the civil side or on the criminal side, there are a lot of delay, and people are speaking about this more and more. Judges are more taken up by it and trying to move things along. I mean, I got things that are before COVID. I mean, still in the 20 teens that are not being resolved up to now, and there are some things that are given more quick time. And sometimes when you look at it, it is a simple thing that needed to be done. But what law is supposed to be done, I will tell every client, because I'm a sole practitioner, I'll tell every client, you have to behave like you are the solicitor on the file. Now, I am the barrister, meaning I doing the advocating, you got to behave like the solicitor. Don't feel like you're hugging anybody when you call them to ask about your case or for a follow-up. You have to be there cracking the whip behind them, asking them to write a letter, asking them to ask a question. I mean, people get busy. People people are only as good as the resources they have around them. And for me, if I can't do something, or if I don't do something, I could refund the person, I will quickly do so, because people deserve their work being done. And sometimes the fault or delay is not totally yours. Even if you're right sometimes to follow up, it is not you. It is when things are up to you and you alone, it's okay. But when it comes to other people in position, especially people who work 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, sometimes you'll be surprised how long it takes for something to move from one desk to the next desk in the same building. That's as much as I could say.
In your opinion, where do you think the blockage is in the system? Why things just crawl along and not really moving in some cases?
It is not in the system. It is the system. I don't want to say kisses go by favor. I don't want to say these things because it shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. But it is possible, and I'm going to tell you, it is possible to get something done in a week. And the same thing that somebody get done in a week, it takes 2 years to get for somebody else to get the same thing done. No, why? Why is the big question.
Which means the system needs to be reformed in some ways. But I am hearing we are passing laws to change this and we're passing laws to change that. But the system that people rely upon to get justice, that needs to be looked at urgently.
Well, you're talking about justice sometimes, like to go to court and have a hearing. Now, I will be honest with you. All right? If I have something at the magistrate court to do, I have been unable to get to the magistrate court, whether it is in Sandy Point or in Nevis, I would think for the last 5 months. I'm serious. Because I have been taken up in the High Court, not only in Nevis, but in St. Kitts. I mean, and when I could slip over to the magistrate court in between cases and so on, I can't get that done in Sandy Point, and I can't get that done in Nevis. So if I have something on any of those schedules, every week I find myself writing, asking that my matters be put to a different date. Now, I'm glad that the High Court going on break in August, and I will be able to get to something. I'm just telling you my situation. No, I do not know other people's situation. That's all I'm letting you know. So sometimes I know that the Chief Justice, Justice Pereira, said one time, if you have conflicts, it is not the court that is at fault. It is you who are at fault. You need to change the way you're practicing, meaning you need to get a partner or a junior. Now, if you don't have money to pay person, I don't know how you'll commit to that. You understand? Because that is also part of your profession. So I am basically showing you that sometimes that is what it comes to. It comes down to people being honest and saying, listen to me, I can't practice in every department. I can't do maintenance. I can't do divorces. I can't do this. I can't do that, and limit the practice. But even I, who limit my practice to predominantly criminal matters, I'm having difficulty. You understand? Because of the changes that have come about. Some of the changes that have come about is now we have moved from assizes. We had the January assizes in the High Court, the April and the May assizes, and then you had the September assizes. So when those assizes, meaning the time when they do High Court and Grand Courts matters, as people would say, or up, you had time in between that to go to the magistrate court and do other things. Now, not only do they have year trials in saying it, but you also have judge-only trials. So sometimes you're doing a jury matter and you have 3 judge-alone matters going on at the same time. How do you get time to do anything else? It is crazy right now. So I'm not surprised that the society and the community is having frustration with lawyers and people who are having their matters move along. But this is the natural consequences of some of the changes that they have made recently, going to year-round trials in the criminal jurisdiction, and people and the lawyers who are practicing in both criminal and civil being able to make the necessary adjustments to solve the clientele. It is only going to get worse, I'm sorry to say.
Well, maybe I need to make an appointment to have a little discussion with the Attorney General.
You need to, and if he cannot solve your problem, he's gonna tell you he's not the one. Let him point you in the direction in which you should go.
Well, I don't expect him to do all the work, but they need to say where you can go in the event that you have these problems, yes. and who will be able to help you. Because let's assume if you're not getting the response you're looking for from the Bar Association, and you're not getting the response from the Attorney General's office, then you're at the mercy of who?
you sometimes have to become your own advocate. You have to become your own advocate, and that is where but you're doing the right thing. You are calling in, you are adding to the debate, you're adding to the conversation, and that is where somebody needs to say, well, tell us give us some specifics so that we can address the issue or the problem. And therefore, somebody needs to sit down with you, because that is how you solve problems.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. Thank you for enlightening me.
You're quite welcome.
Okay. Let's take a commercial break and we'll be back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Who says you have to wait until December to enjoy a little Christmas magic? This July, TDC Home and Building Depot invites you to celebrate Christmas in July, a month of exciting discoveries, incredible value, and reasons to visit again and again. Every week, look out for featured products with something new from Monday to Thursday. Then on Friday and Saturday, you'll get another chance to grab all of the week's featured deals. And because every Christmas comes with a gift, you'll find savings of up to 75% off selected items throughout the promotion. Whether you're tackling your next home project, upgrading your space, or simply looking for a great bargain, there's something waiting for you at TDC Home and Building Depot. Christmas in July begins July 1st. Visit TDC Home and Building Depot and celebrate the reason of giving in the middle of the year.
Nevis, the countdown is on. Get ready for the ultimate clash of rhythm, energy, and soca vibes for Culturama 52. Link up with your friends and family. Bring the energy on Saturday, July 18th, 2026 for the National Bank Soca Monarch semifinals at the Nevis Culturama Village. Showtime, 8 p.m. Come, cheer on your favorite artists as they battle for a place in the grand finals. Experience unforgettable performances, music, and the true spirit of Culturama. Our heritage proud and true. It's Culturama 52.
The new Vita Malt bottle is here, and it's returnable. So don't throw it away, bring it back for cash. Return your empties to your local Carib Brewery Depot and distribution trucks in St. Kitts and Nevis. Vita Malt. Enjoy it. Return it. Let's keep St. Kitts and Nevis clean.
And welcome back. The time 11:34. Well, that was a very enlightening bit in your vein, in your field. That was refreshing.
And I'm thankful for the question and, being right to the point and to the spot,
Yeah, I'm glad that person called because it sort of bears out what we've been saying. You said it over and over. Sometimes you have to be your own advocate.
Yeah.
We won't know what is on your mind and what message need to be sent unless you utter it, Yeah.
Quinn, do you know anybody who, has shown excellence throughout their lives, some scholarship, or somebody who has provided leadership or service to the to the country, to the federation that you want to that
Push
you want
forward as a
you
hero?
want to
I've never
those
really
those
thought
four
about
things.
it. I've never really thought about it.
There's those four things: service, leadership, scholarship, and excellence.
We have a caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
And the reason for me asking you that's the
Criterion?
the four areas for which the central bank put out there to solicit people worthy of putting on the money.
Well, I'm going to stay out of that one. I'm going to stay out of that one.
I just want to let you know, because I'm going to talk about service, scholarship, leadership, and excellence.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, Quinn.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You see how polluted the system is, and this is a backdrop of what Greg said. Greg said he don't know what color Jesus was. Now the whole thing is so polluted, right? That the Christian community they say things like, well, I don't care what color he was. But if he did walk the earth, he must have an ethnicity. But again, this is how psychology and our mind that we are so passive now that we don't bother to get the identity.
Liberate
and all
your
of that have
minds.
taken us. It has taken us away from who we are. Because, like I always say, Quinton and Chelsea, the whole system of religion and Christianity and the Jesus and the Bible is just justifying
Journey.
what European... Yes.
When you're referring to, it's Chesley. Chesley. Sometimes you miscall his name. So
Well, I answer to everything and anything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hold nothing against you, my brother.
Yeah. We know it's a mistake, but I just wanted to enlighten you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is this, right? That this Bible, when you examine from Genesis to Revelation, you would realize it's a book of war over territory. It's a book of war and land. And the God in the Bible is the translators themselves, the Europeans who have done all that they have done to Africa and the world. And here we are tolerating their injustice because they have made us passive by giving us ready-made answers in this Bible.
But Chesley asked a question and it was never answered, right? And this is what kind of consistently baffles me in terms of why is it that we as a people consistently allow this to happen?
Well, Quint,
How is it
let
that
me
how is
say,
it that Chesley could be a student in a, and I was surprised. I mean, I see him and I mean I always respected him, but to be in a school climate like that and put forward wording on
Quint,
paper like that, you have to be bold.
Quint, we were in chains, we were shackled, we were branded, but now the psychology is on our brain, and they keep moving the goalposts because make no mistake, gentlemen. You see this thing they call AI right now that is so on social media? We got to be so careful with it because this is another goalpost there they have moved to, AI. But you see, when I said that AI is not artificial intelligence, for me, AI is ancestral intelligence. We have to go back to who we were, our ancestors who walked before us, because the wisdom of our ancestors is in our DNA. So I am going within. I am not tapping into external. Look at us today, Chesley and Quinn. Where did our politics and education came from? They are all external because we are not connected.
But
And to
but
have
but 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 again, to what Chesley was saying in terms of the Caucasians, everything that the Caucasian learned, we taught them. We
Yeah.
taught them. When you speak about AI, if you go back and you look back at the Moors and their indoctrination and their teaching of the Europeans, you find the word that we use a lot with AI, algorithms. You find that
But
way
Quinn,
back during the Moorish tenure of teaching. So there's nothing new. Old people used to say there's nothing new under the face of the sun. But everything
right.
they learned from us, and then here's what they did. They turned it upside down, came back, and tried to teach us now in a different way as opposed to how we taught them. We taught them to make them better, and they now come and impose an indoctrination on us to make us inferior.
After Quint, after they have polluted and corrupted it. Now, let us look at Christianity, Buddhism, or Muslim. Now, who colonized us? The European colonized us, and they have gave us their culture in Christianity. Because Christianity, Buddhism, and Muslim, they're all culture. They're all culture. So what is our culture, Quint? We have no culture, we have no identity that we have to convert.
But
We
I
have to
just told you,
convert to,
but Journey, I just told you what they came and tried to bring to us. They learned from us.
I got that, Quint. But I'm saying now that they have polluted our sacred culture, our sacred knowledge. They have polluted and corrupted it to greed.
So this is
Because
what I'm saying, Johnny. Is I don't like these excuses we keep making. You know, that is what I'm saying. When I refer to what a young student referred to in Chesley, and what I, as a young technician, a young electrical engineer, express in a forum in the government system. I am saying this cop out and these excuses, they don't work. Chesley is no different to me. I look at him, I see a human being over there. He's here. So what's the difference? Why is it that it is working? That is the question. Why is it working? It has to be that your mindset, and it seems as if the mindset of the majority of black people is an inferior mindset. And that is the problem.
well, I don't know if I would say inferior, Quint. I would say lack of knowledge.
But
I would say that-
if you keep letting someone do the same thing to you over and over and over and keep telling you that you're inferior and you accept it, what does that suggest, Journey? And let's not try to sugarcoat these things.
I hear you, Quint. I don't know if I have the answer for that. As I said, it is lack of knowledge, and you, Chesley, myself, we have to have these forums where our people can look into themselves.
Yeah.
They need to look into themselves, Quint.
Speak
because
up and speak
nothing
out.
that is external can save us. There's not even the second coming of Jesus. The second coming of Jesus is when you go within and realize this system that was imposed on you is to keep you passive.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah. And Chesley was repeating that word, say something.
Yep.
You somehow seem to feel that you're safe by being quiet. And that is to your detriment.
Two things can be right at the same time. If it doesn't make sense to you, then you should not accept it. You understand me? And I'm not telling you that that is being ignorant, but the leap of faith that people want you to take many times, no. Question it.
That's it.
I got thrown out of a class in Montserrat. Because a white teacher who taught us chemistry walked into the class and asked, what is bromine motion? And when she asked what is bromine motion, no one in the class knew. I hadn't done the reading, but she kept asking, and I said, well, bromine motion is the breaking down of bromine through motion. Mm-hmm. Somehow she said I was right. Mm-hmm. Right? And everybody in the class said, how you know? And they keep pestering me. I mean, it was a guess on my behalf. But they keep asking me. I said, well, Newton and them used to chat S-H-I-T and I, but they used to back it up with more S-H-I-T. You understand? She overheard me.
Yes.
And run me out the class.
How dare you?
Because how dare me say that about Sir Isaac? Right? And I basically said to her, when people ask me that, I said, well, tell me something. If Isaac Newton was laying down on an apple tree, and an apple fell down, and he stepped here and said, man, there got to be some kind of force that pulled that apple from where it is and make it fall and hit me. There must be something, and discover gravitational pull and so on to the center of the earth. Well, it's either the man, right, was smoking some kind of good reefer, right, or what was he on to lay on the tree and do that? And begin that process. Listen to me. Began that process of thinking and then work the maths. Okay? But if he is a genius by doing that, then why can't we think? So why can't I solve a question by applying the words bromine motion and saying that it is the breaking down of bromine through motion?
But even the question implies the answer to some extent.
But so I am not capable of being genius. But so Isaac and all of them who is now documented, right, is capable. And that's all I was trying to tell my classmate. I was trying to tell my classmate, if you think, you listen, you think it through, you analyze it, you could come up with any answer. But I got thrown out of the class.
But as you say, analyze, Newton secluded himself for a period of approximately 13 years to do research.
Amen.
So he did research.
Exactly.
So what did he research?
Thinking and writing and calculating.
And who did he research to come up to the conclusions he came up to? They don't give any credence to what he researched.
Whose papers he was getting.
That's it.
Whose papers he was analyzing.
But remember again, I told you, if you go back to the Moors history, you find the word algorithm in there. So put sense out of nonsense. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, they're behind. They have a delay.
Yes, it's me again.
All right.
Now, yes, I would like to say concerning the Moors really were Arab Muslims.
That is a lie. And that is part of the history that they tell you, right? That you see, that's what they don't want to say. They try to put it to a religion or a specific thing because you know how they're going to push and say about the Muslims and Muslim doctrine as opposed to Christianity.
And it couldn't be black people who built the pyramids.
You understand? So go ahead, Greg.
Yes. The Moors were Muslim Arabs and the Berbers of North Africa. Mm-hmm. And who were the Berbers? The Berbers were a group of people that consist of from white people to black people and all in between.
Oh, Lord.
Greg, hold a second now. And I'm going to ask Chesley to also indulge me because I've been following a lot of genetics, okay? And from what I've garnered from all of geneticists and genetic science and so forth, they've come to one conclusion. And the conclusion is everything and everyone came from black. That's one. Number two, the conclusion is that all of Europe at one point was black. That's two. Number three, even if you look at the blue eyes that the white man tried to push as the Aryan race and the blue eyes, genetics has proven that the black man, as mutation and evolution happened in Europe, were the first to have blue eyes, because blue eyes is a part of the recessive process. So what you're saying now, you see, when people are unenlightened, and I use unenlightened as opposed to uneducated, they come and they spill a lot of nonsense, and that is what you're doing.
Okay, I would challenge anybody to go and research it, and I am sure you will see that the Moors comprised of Arab Muslims and the Berbers were a people who were comprised of white people, black people, and all in between. They were the Moors. The Moors wasn't just purely black people only.
Let me ask you a question, Greg. Why is it that you never can have a conversation and speak to blackness unless you interject white? Why is that?
To say that the Moors were black people is misleading, and that statement has to be corrected. Yes, and now we want to feel good that we civilize everybody and we teach everybody and that sort of stuff, but that is not the truth.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Why do they refer to a certain, and this is a recent thing that they did, the white man did that, because prior to that, there wasn't no white person. You know that, right, Chesley?
There wasn't only one race, and that's the human race.
But you're pushing it. But you're pushing it all the time. So I'm asking this now. So why is it that presently they have white, and then they have brown, and then they have black? Why is that?
Those are mythical social constructs. We are all really brown. Just that some are of a much darker hue, and some of a much lighter hue, but but skin melanin, my understanding is really brown.
Okay, so hear this now.
So there's only one race biologically.
What would you you just brought it home. So because that is where I'm going. So what would you say if I said to you that all of the people who are professing themselves to be white, genetics has proven they're really a diluted level of black?
Well, like I said, it's really brown. In melanin, from my understanding, is brown. We are all really brown.
Why is it that you can't say black?
Because the truth is brown.
Anyway, but Chesley, you understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
People who are listening, when I get here, I don't come here to try to prove no points, you know. I come and I express what I know from, ever since I was about 7, 8 years, anyone could tell you. Now as a grown man, you see me walking, you don't see me with a book. But in the early stages, from 7 going up to my 40s, you never saw me without my head in a book, even when I'm walking. You understand? So I'm not saying I'm more versed than anyone else. I'm saying that anyone can be as versed as I am, as Chesley is. And when I hear Chesley saying he wrote this and then he kicked out, like I said, I'm seeing him in a different light, because I'm seeing that he has always been a radical. And I said there was a time when I thought to be radical was bad. And it was Alfonso Bidwater who said to me at one point, he said, Patrick, you are radical and you're going to always be a radical. And I analyzed it and I said to myself, well, if he, who I look up to, because I look up to this man remember he used to play sports, you know. He was a great footballer, you know, and so forth. So in every aspect, and these are the things that young men are lacking today. We don't have enough men who we can look up to and see what a man is supposed to be. You go into the classrooms, you don't see much men. You understand? So no wonder we don't have many manly people because no examples.
Well, okay. Well, I would tell people, as I always say, just look to the Bible because all of the manliness is there that we are to be. Just look to the Bible, read the Bible, study the Bible, live according to the Bible, and you will be the man that you are to be because that is the only source for such knowledge. Now, when it comes to colors of people, really and truly, from my understanding, since skin melanin is brown, there is really no black people or white people. We are all brown. Some are deeper brown, some are lighter brown.
But
how
is it that we know that there are no real white people, but you can accept and carry white? But we know there are no really black people either, but you can't accept black. So you say, there are no black, and you find every way to deny that, but you accept that there are white people, when technically there are no white people.
I don't accept that there are white people any more than I accept that there are black people, because like I said, the melanin in our skin, based upon my understanding, is that it is brown, and we are all one race biologically, but spiritually we are two races: those of Satan race and those of God
Oh my God!
So then, if I was to follow what you're saying, why is it that you find every opportunity to denigrate the brown race and uphold the white race?
But if there are two races, hold on, no. I'm not gonna let get with this two races thing. He moved from one race to two races. I'm not gonna let get. So how come I could switch by accepting Christ and come I move from one race to the next? How?
But again, biologically, physically, there's only one race, the human race. We are all brown, but different degrees. But spiritually, we are two races: the race of Satan and the race of God.
So I could move with the blood of Jesus Christ from the Satan race to the godly race.
Yeah, we all started out in Satan's race, but then the Spirit of God put us, those who God predestined for salvation, the Spirit of God take us out of Satan's race. Those chosen for and put us in God's race, in God's kingdom.
So we got two races, is one race, but there's just an evolving.
Yeah.
An evolution.
At the same time, Chesley,
I just want to know. I want you to let me know how you're thinking. I am not accepting what you're saying. I want to see how you rationalize it.
How you came to that conclusion.
Physically, on the physical plane, there's only one race, the human race. In the spiritual realm, which is different to the physical realm, there are two races: the race of Satan, the children of Satan, and the race of God. That is those who are citizens of his kingdom. But we all started out in Satan's race as Satan's children. But the Spirit of God have taken some people out of Satan's race and put them in God's race. Those who God has predestined for salvation.
Okay, so let me say this to you, and I'm saying this to everybody who is listening. To everyone who is listening, I'm going to make this statement, and it is a factual statement. There is only one race in factual actuality, and that is, I'm going to follow Greg's thing, and that is the brown race, because he doesn't want to use black, right? and we know melanin is that dark, deep brown. So what I'm saying to everyone listening, and especially to black people, those of us who know what black represents to us, the white man is nothing more than a recessive representation of the brown man. You understand what I'm saying? The white man, in all of his ignorance and trying to portray themselves as superior, all they are a recessive representation of the brown man. And they know it. And that is why they are insecure.
Lacking of melanin.
Yeah. That is a fact. And it cannot be denied.
Print. I equally deny white race and black race. I equally deny them.
But I just said, but I just concurred with you, did I not, Chesley?
Yes, you just did.
I did.
Well, I thought you said, but I affirm the white race.
I did not.
Okay,
I
that's what
said.
I heard you say.
Let me repeat again. I said
Okay.
the individuals who represent themselves today as white people, I said there's only really logically one race, and that is the brown race. So that is where I lean
Right.
towards you. And then I further cemented it by saying the people who are representing themselves as white today are nothing more than a recessive representation of the brown man. So I concurred, I lean towards your representation.
Okay.
Because so sometimes people are they don't even realize when you're trying to work with them.
But I would still argue that if you rewind the tape, I think what I said, that I believe I heard you said.
Okay, so I
think would come out
corrected
to
it.
be right.
So I corrected it. So don't try to go
okay.
back there. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
But one thing, when it comes to insecurity, it is those who are not true Christians are the insecure ones. Once you're a true Christian, no matter your skin hue,
Let me tell you.
You have no reason to be insecure.
Let me tell you this, and this is documented. The youngest person ever executed in the United States of America, I think he was a 14-year-old black boy, right? He held in his hand to his chest while they were taking him to the electric chair, a Bible. They took that, you see how much he believed in the Bible? He believed in that Bible, and they took that young man, walked him to the electric chair, took the Bible from him, put the Bible in the electric chair because his physique was so small that he couldn't fit and reach up to the height where they wanted to strap on those electronic things that they could electrocute him. And they put the Bible in the seat, let him sit on it, and they executed that young man who walked to that chair with the Bible in his hand, an affirmation of his belief in that Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did him no.
It
did him no good. And that is only one. But we can tell about thousands and millions of individuals who felt and believed to all of their core in the Bible, and it did not. This is why I say for 400 years we've been touting the same thing, and it has not worked for us. But anyway, like I say, we allow you your expression. No one can say we don't allow Greg to express himself, So go ahead.
Yeah, but let me say this.
Okay, I'm being shown that we're 1 minute over time, so wrap up rapidly.
Okay. Let me do this rapidly. The black guy, if he died a Christian, he is in heaven today. So the Bible did him a lot of great good.
Amen.
If he died as a Christian.
So even though years later it was proven that he was innocent and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to go through all of this injustice and be prosecuted innocently so horribly because we believe in a Bible.
Everybody wants to go to heaven, but none of them want to die.
Once you're dead a Christian, once you're dead a Christian, you have profited the most.
That is what they want you. That is why they've kept us for 400 years. Anyway, we've come to the end.
Okay.
Any parting words?
I don't believe in martyrdom.
Neither
I am not dying for anything. I am going to live for what I believe in.
You understand?
I am going to live for what I believe in. Titus 2:8 it says, he who is without sound words that cannot be condemned.
Yes.
He's have a different view. Let him come forward and speak. That is the same verse that deals with servant obey your masters. You understand? And I just want you read Titus and read Titus 2:8 and you see it's the same verse they use to justify slavery.
Yes.
Slaves obey your masters. Sound speech that cannot be condemned. I'm just simply saying to you, when the governor of the central bank spoke of leadership, service, he talked about excellence and he talked about scholarship. I could find a number of people within the Eastern Caribbean who fit that mold, who fit those molds, and continue to serve us. I don't want us to wait until Sparrow died to start to sing his praises, as we have been doing with Star Shield and Elimat and Arrow and a number of other people. I want people to look and start to look at people like Jill Musgrave, who from the OECS took St. Kitts netball team and defeated all of the Caribbean, not just the OECS, but Trinidad and the Jamaicans and those, and won us 2 Caribbean championships, who serve as a teacher, serve as a public servant, serve that and provided leadership, and continue as a teacher to provide scholarship. I want us to look at the athletes, whether they're the first timers like El Comido Willett and the Kim Collins and so on, because some of us might live all of our life and never see another Kim Collins reach the platform, the podium to hear our national anthem play on the world stage. I just want you to know that, because it's a long time. Hazley Crawford went for Trinidad, and they cannot put somebody back there up to now, since 1976 in Montreal. I just want you to see how rare some of these feats are. That was in the Olympics. This is the World Championship. I'm saying these things because when we are looking around at people, right, whether we have airports named after them, they were political leaders and so on. We have Dame Eugenia Charles, we have Compton, we have Bud, we have Bramble. I really wanted to take a moment to speak about Webster. Because just give me 10 more seconds, because
Go ahead,
and I'm asking for it, because this is it was research that I was doing at York University about St. Kitts Nevis and about self-determination. When I realized that Webster took Anguilla from a point of internal self-government and statehood back to colonialism, and Anguilla is the international precedent, right, of such a thing. Normally when people take self-determination in their hand, it is into independence. But Anguilla took self-determination from internal self-government back to colonialism. It's the only country in the world that had done that. A place local in the world that had done that. And that is an international precedent in terms of international law. So I just want you to know some of the things that you would not find in your own education, even when you exist and live in the same locale. And therefore, I want people to analyze and ask questions of their own politics, of their own history. And when the central bank come and they say, these are the people that we are putting out there, you must ask, well, if James could be out there, where is Kim? Or where is Jill Musgrave? Or where is this? Because Viv Richards is out there. Where is El Comido Willett? Where is this? You must ask these questions because you want to know, well, why was this person, whether they're the first or not, why isn't this person there? Or what caused this person to be included and this person to be excluded? And I think that the raw data should be given to us, how those decisions were made. I'm not saying that these are not good choices. Mind you, they are excellent choices. I like the fact that we have gone on that path, but as the systems and the competencies develop, we want to know so that we can embrace it and move forward with the coins and everything else. I think it's a good start for the central bank, but we want to know more about the raw data. Thank you for today, and I hope that as we move forward, we can continue some more of these discussions. Quint, have a good weekend.
Same to
and
you.
I wish you luck, whoever you're going to support tomorrow in the World Cup final. I know you're
I'm
not
not
supporting
supporting anyone.
I know you're not going to support Argentina, but you I mean, the
Whoever
colonialists in
wins-
Spain, you may have to root for.
Whoever wins, wins.
Wins. But you understand? But I hope it's a good match, and I hope we get a good game. But trust me, I even though Messi is a good player, I just cannot support Argentina.
Yeah, okay. Take care.
Found the sound 98.9.
Nevis, the countdown is on. Get ready for the ultimate clash of rhythm, energy, and soca vibes for Culturama 52. Link up with your friends and family. Bring the energy on Saturday, July 18th.